Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon. I will present the following study, growth responses to the drought of primary producers in Pinus pinaster ecosystems, which I have developed alongside Gabriel Sangüesa Barreda and Jaime Madrigal González. As is well known, climate change is a global threat for many ecosystems, and one consequence of the climate change is the increased frequency of extreme events, such as heavy rains or droughts. Extreme droughts, as seen in the graph, have already increased in frequency since 1981, and it is expected that they will continue to increase over time. Furthermore, extreme events can affect to the plant growth. For example, extreme droughts can lead to the loss of a growth ring or the formation of a very small growth ring. On the right, we have an image of Pinus pinaster core tree, with a narrow growth ring marked. This growth ring corresponds to the drought of 2005 that affected in the Iberian Peninsula. However, species-rich ecosystems, as seen in several studies, have been shown to maintain ecosystem stability in terms of biomass in the phase two of impacts such as droughts. Why is this? Well, different species have different traits that make it easy for them to cope with disturbances such as droughts. Therefore, our main objective is to explore whether species of primary producers share similar or different growth responses to drought. Our specific objective one is to study growth responses in primary producers during drought years of the 21st century, specifically from 2013 to 2023, as this is the time span covered by our chronologies. And our specific objective two is evaluate resistance, recovery, and resilience capacity of every species in these years. This study was conducted in Cuellar, Castilla y León, within the Iberian Peninsula. The forests are dominated by Pinus pinaster in sandy soils with low water retention. And typically, the precipitation in these areas is distributed in autumn and spring. But in our 3 drought years, this is not the case. In 2015, in yellow, precipitation is very low from March onwards. In 2017, in green, we experienced a more severe drought before and during spring, except for May. And in 2019, there is a more severe drought both before spring and during spring, except for April, when precipitation increases slightly. Our study species were Pinus pinaster, shrubs like Lavandula stoechas, herbaceous perennials like Elianthemum violaceum, herbaceous annuals like Hippocaeris glabra, and hemiparasite Viscum album subspecies austriacum. So to fulfill objective one, we measured the annual growth of different species. For woody plants, we used secondary growth, where when each year is a ring, and we measure the distance between the beginning and the end of the ring. For primary growth in herbaceous plants, we used hay as a growth proxy, and in mistletoe, we used the distance between nodes. In mistletoe, the first segment represents second year, and from there, we have a segment per year. To address objective two, we calculated resistance index, where we divided the growth of the drought year by that of the pre-drought year, resilience, where we divided the growth of the post-drought year by that of the pre-drought year, and recovery, where we divided the growth of the post-drought year by that of the drought year. As a result, we obtained that in these 3 drought years, marked in red, we see a trend of decrease in the growth for both, for herbaceous and for woody plants, with 2015 being the most disparate year. However, mistletoe didn't decrease its growth in these years. It's the brown in the first graph, and also it didn't seem to be in sync with the rest of the elements, probably due to the hemoparasitic condition. The result for the resistance index in different species was similar. Resistance decreased in almost all species as the frequency of drought increases, showing higher resistance in 2015, whereas in 2019 it took the lowest or almost identical values as in 2017. However, resilience shows differences. The resilience index of shrubs was higher in 2017. For pine was higher in 2019, and for herbaceous was higher in 2015. It is important to note that the calculation of the resilience we used the year before and after the drought, where conditions can be very different. For example, in 2015, we had high precipitations in autumn that could contribute to the water balance. And recovery had higher values in 2019 in general for all groups, but recovery was influenced by what happens in the year after the drought. For example, in 2019, precipitation is high in July, that could contribute positive to the balanced water for the following season. So, in conclusions, the timing of the drought occurrence appears to be related to the resilience and recovery capacity of a species. Mistletoe doesn't follow a pattern similar to the rest of the species in drought years, and resistance decreases as drought events repeat more frequently. Thank you very much.